and Godzilla like breathes his atomic energy into King Kong's axe, and then he's like, "Take it, brother."
Yeah, no, I know. As Godzilla was charging, Godzilla's like charging up, getting all blue and shit, like on his side, just like sitting on the building. It was like, you might as well throw it up the deuce. It's like,
Welcome back to another Uchi Tree movie review. Michael, we got a treat today.
do we?
We got a treat for everybody.
Wait, are you saying we're gonna review a movie that's not inherently bad?
Yeah, there's a possibility of being good.
Okay.
So we're reviewing Godzilla vs. King Kong, the latest blockbuster to come to HBO Max and the cinemas nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to this movie.
Me too. I didn't see the previous Godzilla one where they made all the monsters in the trailer look just like godlike, like there's some magic card.
Oh, you didn't watch that one?
I did not.
Should have.
I know I should.
You have Amazon?
Yeah.
Watch it.
I think Godzilla be thick in this movie.
Godzilla be so thick.
Hey,
to tell you what?
Is Godzilla a female or a male?
Dumb thick in the last one too. He's the king.
But what's weird? Okay, so with Matthew Broderick,
Was it she?
Okay, so they go back and forth sometimes.
Yeah. Depends on which you ask. I mean, or maybe it's genderless. Maybe it's King of Monsters is just a title, but maybe who knows?
And this
it's
movie,
a reptile. I think reptiles have a lot going on that I don't know about that could probably cause a
interchangeable.
Yeah,
they all have cloacas down there. We all have cloacas down here.
Mm-hmm. So it's a wonderful movie. We start off with a very funny scene, if you ask me, of King Kong kind of like getting up. You see him like lazing himself awake, and he's like taking a fake shower under a waterfall with a nice little song, and he meets his little friend, and who is a deaf girl, a little deaf girl, who somehow is able to communicate with King Kong.
Yep.
I don't know if it's like through sign
later.
language.
Yeah, later you can find out it's sign language. Yeah, she's apparently part of the tribe that something destroyed. He might have destroyed it, and then he was like, "Oh no!" Felt sorry for this little girl, and made a promise. The one female character in this that's a scientist talks about the happening of how this little girl and Kong met.
Yes, her name is Gia.
Gia.
For the folks at home, Gia is just a nice girl who
Just a small town girl
communicated with King Kong.
Okay,
nailed it.
Yeah, you nailed it, I guess. Audience will be the judge of that one.
Yeah, please God tell me I nailed it.
So, yeah, and then she made a little doll of King Kong, just being like, ha da da. Just I think because this guy King Kong fashioned a spear out of a tree, just like walking around with the spear, and then the scientist is like, get the fucking girl, and she's just like, okay, King Kong doll, I made it for you. He's just like looking at it, gets really close. This is when they reveal that she's deaf because everything's silent on her end.
Which I did like that. I did like those bits of the movie. I thought that was kind of cool.
And then he's just like, nah, I'm not fucking with it. I could care fucking less. And then he takes the spear, it's like, huh! He throws it.
And that's when you learn that he's like in this fake simulation containment center through Monarch, who was introduced in the previous movie, or all of the movies really. But this was the last one they put a very prominent role in it. And then we flash forward to another scene where this really weird freaking dude who runs like a conspiracy theory podcast, Bernie. Bernie is a very eccentric character. He washes himself in bleach to wash away all of the airborne surveillance cameras.
He believes in a lot of theories. Like crazy theories, conspiracy theories, and like flat Earth, maybe even Hollow Earth.
Hollow Earth, yes.
Hollow Earth theory, guys.
Which I would prefer Hollow Earth over flat Earth. I think that's way cooler.
The truth is out there.
Truth is out there. And we figure out Apex Cybernetics, which is an evil corporation, very stereotypical, who is doing something slimy underneath the eyes of the world, and that we don't quite know about yet. And he's trying to expose the truth and break into it.
He works there for them.
Well, yes. He got a job. He's been working there for...
He's infiltrating.
He infiltrated this place for 5 years. to try and get the truth out of Apex Cybernetics. And the day that he happened to be finally making his move and getting that information, Godzilla shows up and just destroys hardcore.
Yeah. The spikes on Godzilla, he or she swims like a shark with the long spikes, the Stegosaurus like spikes on the back, just like protruding out of the water, just going like this. And for a second before he gets, I remember this scene. It was like before he gets there, his head submerges for a second, goes, then goes down. I know
you could have toned that back.
I get it. Godzilla didn't tone it back. Godzilla didn't do it. But I just imagine Godzilla when he swims is constantly underneath the water, just going, lifts his head up. It's like constantly screaming underwater.
Yeah.
It's like ready to go. And yeah, Godzilla F shit up, kaiju style.
Yeah, no, destroys it. And it's funny because they definitely in this movie took a conspiracy theory approach of like, man, this guy makes more sense than he should. You know, like the guy's talking, and every once in a while when I'm hearing him talk, it's like, well, of course Apex Cybernetics is an evil corporation. Look at this place.
Mm-hmm.
Of course this is what's happening.
It's
and
not far-fetched.
Plus, it's like, of course, it's like Godzilla up until this point of the movie has known to only ever go after two things. One, technology that mimics him, essentially, or other Titans, or other Titans that he would view as a threat, because he's the alpha. So, like, if at that point in the movie, and that point in Civilization, I would truly believe, yeah, of course Godzilla is going after something because they're doing something. It's a cybernetic company. Of course they're making something.
How did Godzilla figure that shit was popping at Monarch? Like, how did they? Is like something radar? I know because I remember they show the eye to what we later discover what that eye belongs to in there, just kind of like radiating or something. Is that? Are they trying to kind of give the impression that this is like a beacon that Godzilla can pick up on of just something?
It's a signal that he can kind of tell. Like, they were building parts for this, and something about the parts from that, because we learn later that in the previous movie, Ghidorah was the main villain, the three-headed dragon from space.
Mm-hmm. Just baller.
And in this movie, you learn that they're taking the body parts of Ghidorah and they're utilizing it to help bridge the gap in technology between this ancient these ancient Titans, and they're trying to like fuse that together with cybernetics. So yeah, no, we see the whole Apex building get shut down. Bernie survives. Mm-hmm. He sees the eye and of this machine that seemed to be the reason why Godzilla was coming, and then we kind of change scenes a little bit. And we start getting introduced to some of the characters from the previous movie, like, what is it, Madison? Her name is Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, she's in school and she's watching the news coverage.
So Madison, and then we kind of flash forward to her kind of arguing with her dad, who's in the last movie, Mark, who's played by Kyle Chandler, who I've seen him in a lot of different things. He's a very dad, like, when I see him, I see dad. I see like a father type figure. He kind of irradiates that, I think. He's got that vibe. Or a football coach, one of the two.
I could see that. I think he's played both.
I think
you're just subconsciously just thinking, it's like, we're a football coach.
And so he's kind of like, hey, I don't know what the hell's going on. Obviously, something happened where Godzilla's attacking it. Whether or not it be because he changed and made that decision, or if something called him there, it doesn't matter. He's destroying buildings, and Madison's like, Dad, it matters.
Godzilla is like,
he saved us, Dad.
He's doing it for a reason, you know?
He saved us, Dad. It happened.
If you watched our previous, I don't know what order things are coming in, but we just got done reviewing Grizzly 2 Revenge. You should watch that.
She's samming it.
Yeah, she's samming the hell out of this
the fuck
movie.
Out of it.
There's always some tree-hugging hippie that's just like, wait, we can't kill the monster. It has feelings. Yeah,
and so and then again we kind of get that little storyline progression, and then we get to see one of actually I kind of like this actor. His name's like Alexander Skarsgård, I believe is the last name's pronounced.
Yep.
he plays a kind of a scientist who was kind of called a crackpot, kind of thrown into the underbelly of the school. His office is in the basement next to the flute.
Yep, he had very fringe beliefs, and now he's in a
hollow
college.
Earth.
Yeah, hollow Earth theory, which is baller.
Yeah,
and he has
very
all
cool.
this calculations on how he would do it, and then he's approached by Monarch.
Well, no, that's Apex.
Oh, okay. I thought Monarch and Apex were the same thing. Okay.
No, Apex Cybernetics and Monarch are two separate organizations. Which is kind of funny, because in this moment of the movie, I was just thinking to myself, this is Atlantis. This is the whole plot of Atlantis right here. It's a fringe scientist who had crazy beliefs that was basically sent down to the bottom of the boiler room, or in his case, the basement next to the flute department, whatever. And some rich motherfucker comes up like, hey, I'm going to fund your expedition, and we're going to go where you want, and you're going to call the shots.
Why are you doing that, man?
Yeah,
like,
why?
Oh, I just want to see your dreams fulfilled.
Really?
Oh, wow. No nefarious reasons, huh?
Yeah.
No.
And then, of course, they sneak some evil people into the group.
Which is like hot chick assassin. She's just there to make sure shit gets done.
Which is his daughter.
Oh, okay.
Her name Maya, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
So then we're thinking, so he's on board. They're going to try and find Hollow Earth, and they determine the best way to do that is through King Kong. Their idea is that they can't utilize Godzilla. They need to use King Kong to go to Hollow Earth, because Hollow Earth is where all of these titans originally kind of came from. And then they interact what might be the stupidest idea in the world. So they're bright, all these gigantic, corporations, these smart scientists, and their bright genius idea is, let's just chain Kong onto a ship and we'll sail him across the ocean to Antarctica, where Godzilla is. And this entire movie, they're like, as soon as he steps outside of this containment, Godzilla's gonna find him, and they're going to have to fight, yada yada yada. As soon as he leaves, they're gonna have to fight. So what do? They float his ass to fucking Antarctica? Why? They clearly were able to fly him. They had him sedated.
Yeah, but that was something that they had to discover afterwards. I don't know.
Idiotic.
Well, anyway, he's
idiotic at best.
Kong is sedated,
drugged out of his mind,
on a hangar ship, like a huge Navy hangar ship. I don't know what the actual term for it is, but yeah, they're just driving, going ham.
Gia was able to kind of not necessarily coax out of King Kong, but was able to speak to King Kong using sign language, and King Kong knows sign language.
Yeah, that's where we find out that he's able to reciprocate it.
Yes.
And then also it just goes to that, and they're just like they're dealing with that as a team. It's like, hey, I didn't know that was a thing. Maybe we could do this a lot easier. I'm not sure. It was an epiphany to the whole thing, like the whole science team. But then Godzilla comes, starts messing up ships.
Yep.
And it pissed me off. For some reason, they're battling with each other mentally, being like, "Oh, what are we gonna do? Should we free Kong? Because they gotta fight, right?" It's like, no, for some reason.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I always thought was super funny about that is, like, you idiots. If King Kong's adrenaline starts going, you got to imagine the sedatives are going to wear off. This dude, Kong will tear this ship apart if he needs to get free because he's drowning. So you having him chained up to that makes you just as much more in danger than anything else.
Yeah, and the whole thing about him, it just took so long for them to decide to eject Kong out.
Yep, like, it really only happened until they were literally, the boat was flipped upside down. They're like, okay, well, let's let him go. And then he's underwater screaming while he's pulling up, like, ah! And then, like, okay, like, yeah. But in real life, it would have been like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
We do actually, one of the cooler scenes in the movies, we do get a very fun slow motion scene of King Kong kind of looks over the edge and sees that Godzilla's about to shoot a laser up. So he runs off the boat and jumps in the air, and it gives you this weird slow motion scene of King Kong just
action movie jumping out of an exploding building.
Yeah, which is kind of like, okay, whatever. It's funny. It makes you laugh.
And then they're just like a little fight that Godzilla keeps trying to take Kong down underwater to come to my playground, bitch.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
King Kong had no chance in that like area. Yeah. So King Kong plays dead. They shut down everything on the boat. King Kong thinks they're good. So what they decide to do is what they should have did the entire time is they fly him away. They just hook him up to a bunch of harnesses, lift him up with 10 helicopters, and they fly him to Antarctica, which, by God, that should have been plan one.
Oh yeah. I don't know why that wasn't thought of as an original idea. But...
Yeah, I maybe there was oh, well, it'll be cheaper if we just go by boat. Maybe they were trying to cut a corner there. I don't know.
This is time to be cutting corners because you ended up losing 5 massive ships.
Yeah,
in the process.
Gigantic, huge war carriers.
People died.
A lot of people died.
You knew that Godzilla is fucking ruler of the waters.
On the other end of our movie, we kind of flash back to Madison, who we learn that Madison is actually a big fan of Bernie's podcast. You know, she's really getting into that underground. She's really truly believes in it. So her plan is that she's gonna track down this Bernie dude, and she's gonna kind of get him to help her figure out what's going on. To help Godzilla out, real diehard. And her boy, who actually was one of my favorite actors in, I don't know if I'd call it a breakout role, but the Julian Dennison who played Josh in this movie, her friend, was in Deadpool 2, and he was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, he's funny.
I loved him in that movie, so I was I was excited to see that he's getting work and other things.
Yeah.
He shows up with his brother's van, and Madison, Millie Bobby Brown's character, just straight takes charge right away. She gets in, she gets going, and she's just she's driving the van. They're kind of talking about what their plan is, and you can tell Josh is a little bit apprehensive about the whole plan. He's definitely following the plan because of Millie Bobby Brown's character, not because of his belief in the cause.
Yeah. And you know what that kid reminds me of? I had to look her up because I forgot, but it reminds me of the obviously younger and male version of Rebel Wilson, because I think they're both Australian.
It's the accent, for sure.
It's the accent, and also it's just the way they come off too. But yeah, I think they have a couple parallels.
Yeah, so they get hooked up with Bernie, and what is it? They basically
just go in a van and they just hightail it. I don't know. Well, I think
they get to Bernie's house.
Yeah, and
Bernie obviously didn't open the door until he found out who Madison's character is, because Madison's parents in the first movie were quite not necessarily famous, but they were very involved scientists at the top of lines of Monarch and all that. And then we get more Bernie exposition, kind of learning about his dead wife, and he carries on a flask and a gun holster up from his dead wife that his wife gave him, and he is completely unhinged. Well, 80% unhinged.
Yeah, somewhat.
80%. And they're basically like, hey, there's this Apex. We're gonna go to that Apex facility that got destroyed, and we're going to investigate. And we're going to kind of figure out what's happening.
Find out later that the thing that they're working on is called the Apex Legend Program.
Which is going to be a solid video game.
Yeah. Somebody needs to make that game called Apex Legends.
And on the flip side, on the other end of the world in Antarctica, we have Gia, Eileen, who is kind of her guardian, I would say. A guardian.
Yeah.
To Gia. And the other scientist, who's played by Alexander Skarsgård, Nathan, they get to Antarctica and they're like, "Hey, go home, King Kong, go home."
And King Kong's just there, freezing his ass off. Is like, I don't want to fucking be here right now.
He's like, "Why am I here? What the?
It's fucking cold."
Yeah, and so they kind of have to coax him a little bit, like, "Hey, there may be more people like you. There may be family like you on the other side of this tunnel. You should go. You should kind of go take a look at that." And he was very interested by that. He was very interested in family and home. So he runs, and they...
It's like a returning to home. It's almost like the Simba
Yeah.
scene from Lion King.
Yeah, and
where he's just running home.
Yes.
But he's actually swinging from like this miles and miles of like metal fortressy stuff that's people built for some reason in this attempt to go down.
Yeah, either that or they excavated and they put in like platforms to hold it up. I don't know. It was very weird. And then we see the portal to the center of the earth.
Yeah, which looked like it hurt.
Apparently, if you don't have a special machine for it, you get crushed by the gravity.
They're stealing a lot of things from Moana. I don't know if you guys have seen Moana, but there's a thing. Where she goes to the spirit realm, which is like a dimension or place underneath the water itself, which is kind of portrayed in how this works, where you have to like go through some kind of funnel thing to even get to this place. But they get through it.
I did think it was really funny because I watched. I'm a big fan of fun movies. So I've seen all of these movies. I remember King Kong, took place during the times of like Vietnam. Godzilla, the newer remake, which came out in like 2012, maybe 2013. That movie was very down in reality. It was very much so a what the heck would happen if Godzilla showed up now. And then King of Monsters and not Donkey Kong, Godzilla versus King Kong, you can really tell that they're showing the aftermath of it, of how like humanity tried to kind of come back from that, because things are progressively a lot more sci-fi, whether it be the guns that they use, the facilities that they have, infrastructure, or the ships that they use. It's all very sci-fi, or light sci-fi light is what I would call it. It's not quite full-fledged like like Starship Enterprise or like Star Wars, but it very much so is like you're really looking at next generation human technology from that aspect. And so when they were going through that portal, I was questioning if they're going to like the hollow earth, or are they teleporting somewhere?
I don't know. It looks like it could be either or, but
it really could be either or, because during that time when that's happening, it's
like some 2001: A Space Odyssey thing where it's like the end where it's like showing a bunch of like lights trailing. People are just like not even be able to see or even feel reality for a second.
Yeah, and like when they're going through it, like their voices kind of clip out. It's like and they go through this portal and they're in like what looks to be like a mirrored world where there's land masses above them and below them. It's very, very cool to look at.
It's not cool. I would not want to live there.
No, well,
it's
I wouldn't want to. I'm not going to buy real estate.
Like you look up, there's just more land. It's like, oh my
god. From the comfort of my couch, cinematography wise, beautiful. The whole thing was super well done. I loved it, but I wouldn't want to put down roots.
No.
The Uchi tree is not going to be found in there.
The neighbors in there, they're mean.
Yeah, so
you basically get there and King Kong's just like falling. They fall and King Kong's just like shit, trying to grab on his stuff.
They grab it onto mountainsides and stuff like that.
And then they get he gets stable. The ship gets stable. They're just chilling. King Kong's just running. It's like, okay, what's good? And then this giant like flying Gila monster thing just goes. Arr!
It was super cool. It honestly looked like a flying stingray.
Kind of, but it had a snake head.
More like okay. So take a stingray, take a snake, fuse those together, and then make it very bird-like at the same time.
It's almost like a flying snake thing that the Mayans believed in. It's called whatever it's called, but it's like a feathery kind of snake thing. But also, it's almost like those things in Prometheus.
That might actually be what they were going for, because in this movie, a lot of like gods, were from old cultures and stuff like that, were titans.
Mm-hmm.
So that actually is probably what they were going for. If anything, I would put money on that.
I can't think. It starts with a K. But anyways, it looks like even the things around it, like the wings, it's like webbed things they can control like fingers. It's almost like a bat wing.
Yeah.
Because they get in a fight, this thing starts wrapping around Kong's waist and going like this, and it pulls this really sweet move where it like covers Kong shields over Kong's like mouth and head with its wing and tries to suffocate Kong.
Which, yeah, I actually thought that was very cool, and you kind of see the imprint of Kong's face as it was doing that.
Yeah, because
Very
it's definitely it basically kind of makes you feel like, oh shit, there's a food chain down here, and like shit's constantly fighting. Which there's a reason why probably Kong left in the first place, because this place is fucking sucks ass.
Yeah, like there's a reason why they migrated. That's all I'm saying. Skull Island looks great in comparison.
Yeah.
And after that fight, we get a lot of like sweeping shots of the scenery and different creatures. And it comes to this point where they find this gigantic doorway.
Well, there's this one mountain thing where there's like this apparently finger that's reaching down.
Yeah.
Where Kong sees it, and he runs up this mountain, and it's in the middle of
like Kong
landscapes.
knew where he was going.
Yeah, where landscapes meet, the gravity gets weaker and weaker and weaker to the very middle of it.
Yeah.
Because when you get to the because there's land on up and
it
down.
switches.
Well, yeah, it's not. There's no up and down technically. So he gets to the top where it's the mid change of gravity. He kind of floats up and changes.
Another super cool shot.
Yeah, yeah. So it changes. He goes from up and then goes down onto the other side of the landscape, follows some other stuff, eventually gets to this fortress, kind of technically, where he can open this door where you just got to.
And at the same time of all of this, we have our second group, Madison, Josh, and Bernie, the dynamic triplets or the terrific triplets, trying to save the world.
Yeah, they're just getting in a bunch of hijinks and
Yeah.
having fun along the way.
They were able to go to sub-level 33, which was hinted at the beginning of the movie, the bottom of this apex cybernetic building, and you learn that there's a gigantic facility underneath what Godzilla destroyed, where they are transporting the skull crawlers, and skull crawlers are monsters that were very prominent.
It's so douchey that you know, like, the nicknames for these creatures.
No, that's their actual names.
Well, whatever. Douchier. Whatever, it doesn't
Douchier.
matter.
Sorry, I saw the movies and remember.
Oh, I remember they're called skull crawlers. Thank you.
Well, they said it on the. They said
I have a tattoo on my ribcage of a skull crawler.
They also
taking on King Kong.
said it in the movie. I go, oh no.
I know. Pay attention to movies?
Yeah,
What are you, a fucking
movies,
nerd?
Michael, you nerd.
Oh, wow.
Fucking weeb.
Oh, why? This guy pays attention to the movies he watches. Whoa, what the fuck?
Anyway, sass aside, I'm gonna look away from you for the rest of the whole time. Just look this way. So the rest of them. So we learned that they're transporting skull crawlers from wherever this was, like San Diego or whatever,
San Diego,
Hawaii maybe actually, to Hong Kong, and they sneak onto like a little transportation system, and they get transported to Hong Kong. Mm-hmm. And this is where they start realizing that
they're not in Kansas anymore.
It's not. Yeah, that the reason Godzilla was chasing them down is because they're building Mecha Godzilla. And we get this super cool scene of Mecha Godzilla picking up the skull splitter. Yeah,
just stretching him out and just like, and just like, fucking laser beams him down the middle.
And that's where the main problem was. The reason why, that's when we learned the reason why Apex sent this group of scientists down with Kong to the Hollow Earth was to figure out, to find a power source that they believed there was somewhere located. There was a power source that they could use, which I don't know why.
I mean, they figure that these Titans have an origin, a place of origination where they can trace.
What were they feeding off
if they
of
go
originally?
back there should be some sort of thing that, is the
catalyst.
Yeah, the catalyst to their power.
Why did all these Titans grow to this size, this power? It's got to be some type of an energy source that they're feeding off of, and that's what they were looking for.
Yeah.
And that's where we find Kong at, actually, is where he gets into this room. And this is where I started thinking, this movie's Aliens. This movie has to be Alien-esque because it's...
I thought this throne room was from more of Kong's kind.
No. Well, yes, it was supposed to be, but that's my confusion. Kong's kind... Kong is smart. He is not like a genius, though. He can't make tools. He can make spears but that's not really like very
Maybe
difficult.
he was a lost ape. Maybe he's like the Clark Kent of this ape things, where they knew it was the end, so they put him through the Hollow Earth portal to go to. So he never was able to learn all this like fantastical knowledge that these previous tribes had.
From the lore they set up, nerd time, Michael.
I thought I was being a nerd right there.
In the lore they set up on Skull Island,
Mm-hmm.
Kong's family was on Skull Island, and they were killed in a fight against the Skull Crawlers and other kaiju on Skull Island.
Okay.
So it wasn't just him going there. So somewhere, some of these monkeys, these gigantic apes, knew how to make doors. They had door hinges.
Well, Alex, here we go. It goes back to my theory already, because you could just say
they
that
hollowed out the mountain, Michael.
they have magical axes. Too.
There were support pillars.
Yep, they have energy harnessing capabilities. It's basically ancient aliens up in this bitch.
Yes.
But
Yes.
what I'm trying to say is they could have, instead of ejecting Kong now, you're introducing he and Mama and Dada. They could have ejected Mama and Dada.
Yeah, he's like 4th generation.
Yeah, he could have been, and then they made it to, keep the thing going.
I hope that if they do continue this movie series, which I hope they do, they explore more into that. But yeah, Kong gets his axe, which actually just looked like, it really was just a Godzilla spine strapped to and a stick.
And that's a thing. And then it turns out that it's a key to something. But anyways,
that released the power that Apex was looking for.
Yeah, it does. And also it triggers Godzilla for some reason.
Well, he knew, yeah. There's a connection between the two that we don't know yet. And, Godzilla shows up at Hong Kong where the terrific trio are.
We did forget the thing where there's like these vulture bats inside this cave that come down. And once Godzilla's beam gets through the earth,
the vulture bats
bats start freaking out, being like, "Oh, this is our cave! What you doing?" And then they start swooping down, killing the team.
Sam would hate that.
Oh yeah, Sam, stop killing them! They're just vulture bats.
They're both vulture bats.
And
They're fine.
But then this is when whatever that girl, the spy girl, comes in,
Mara,
sends this metal Roomba spider to go collect a sample of the Earth to get it to bring it back to Apex.
And that's how they get to power Mechagodzilla fully, because that solves their power problem.
Yeah, but then the bats are going crazy. They need to leave. They start killing the crewmen. They escape narrowly.
Mara's ship does get tries to jet out early and leave everyone behind, and they start shooting at Kong. And it was a really, really cool scene where Kong grips the ship, and you can tell he gets his eye real close to make sure Gia, his close friend, was not in the ship. And as soon as he could tell that she wasn't, he was just like, crush.
He crushed it. He didn't acknowledge it was like a can of beer that one just throws it off.
I would
to the
say
side.
less than a can of beer, dude. Just
but
nothing.
He doesn't even acknowledge it. He just crushes it as he's walking to do something else. Like it's just like so badass.
It was very, very cool. Very cool.
But that leaves I'm not sure. How did they get the power source then?
Well, apparently they didn't need to get the power source. They needed to
study it.
They needed to get a breakdown of its composition to recreate it.
So they uploaded its schematics.
Yeah.
Whatever. Chemical makeup.
Yep, it's chemical makeup, and then they recreate it, and that's what they use to power Mechagodzilla. And there's a very
you got the E equals MC squared.
Yeah, and in this time, as shit's all popping off, the terrific trios, I'm going to call them from now on, they get captured while going through Apex, and they find themselves face to face with the boss we've seen a couple times in passing in this movie, who basically was like, yeah, I'm building this machine because we have to be the Apex players. We have to be able to defeat King or Godzilla, or else we're going to be under his rule forever. This is my new world power.
And he's also getting off on it too. It's like, I'm going to be the Apex. And also it's like, once you get that kind of power, once you don't have to worry about Godzilla and you own Mechagodzilla, what else does that bring to the table of just like world domination? You
can very well tell that he is not doing this out of the goodness of his heart. And he forces the Mechagodzilla pilot, who's not just some throwaway character, but for this instance, we haven't really touched base on it. They told him, like, hey, you need to get in this mech and you need to go. The problem is that something happened with the power source where it gave life to Mechagodzilla's own personality. It went haywire.
I didn't interpret it like that.
Yeah, it did not. I
didn't interpret it
yeah.
like that. I interpreted it in the sense of now I think Gojira was aware of everything, like back in the subconscious of this dead remnants. Gojira was able to notice that this was the time now to hijack the situation. And I think literally Mechagodzilla was the ghost of Gojira.
Maybe.
That's how I interpret it.
Maybe, yeah. And you know what? Hey, I would love to hear other theories like that. That's definitely, whether or not you feel it's a little bit my way or Michael's way. If you got something new, let us know. But that's literally when shit just goes insane. Because at this point, Godzilla and King Kong already fought on, like, ground. You know, above the Apex facility or near the Apex facility in Hong Kong. And, King Kong did well.
Yeah. The characters even said it themselves. I think he won round 2.
Did you notice all the dumbass one-liners they threw towards King Kong? I think in this movie, because of the fact that Godzilla's been the last 2, and they've really hyped up Godzilla, to make King Kong seem way better, they would do these really it's like no one. It's like King Kong, or the king bows to nobody.
Oh, I know. I now remember that line that you say that. Oh my god.
It's like who do you think is going to go against the king? He looks like King Kong took this round.
Once you suck his dick already.
Yeah, it's like they gave a lot of like one-liners that really try and hype up King Kong a lot. Which I didn't mind, because obviously this movie is not a movie you're watching for like it is not a Grammy award-winning movie. It is a fun movie. It's going to be remembered as a fun movie, part of the Godzilla mythos, but I'm okay with it. But they really did try and jerk him off a lot for the whole movie.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I mean, he needed some jerking off. The guy just can't get a break.
Because Godzilla's cool as shit.
Godzilla
is cool as shit.
Godzilla's thick as fuck. He's daddy thick. He's not mama thick. He's daddy thick. He's just there with these legs, dude. His legs are like freaking stalks. He's a boy. Redwood stalks.
He's a big boy.
And I like Godzilla's kind of like design, to be honest. He's kind of cool. Every time he opens his mouth, though, I just get vagina. Like, you look inside Godzilla's mouth, and it's just like, is that a vagina?
It's like that TikTok. Sir, get me that Godzilla mouth.
So I see it. I see where they're coming from with that TikTok.
And then we just get treated to what I was very much so enjoying. A fight between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla, because Mechagodzilla was absolutely rocking Godzilla. He was just like picking him up face to face to face, just like building to building. And it was really cool, kind of cool how they did Mechagodzilla, because I loved how they put in little touches, like giving Mechagodzilla a red laser, because, just to kind of differentiate it. I love how they gave him propulsion boosters in the back of his spines to kind of explain why he's so much more faster than Godzilla. I just thought all those little things really kind of made him super, super, super cool.
Every time he was about to do something kind of or I guess every time that he was about to get an action ready, you'd see his spine go click, 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 click up top there.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, but I do, with the fighting the whole thing you just said about the recovery. Like, he has thrusters to have recovery be like way more faster. It's just, you could tell that this is like a athlete that's been enhanced. It's like an athlete that's been enhanced by technology.
Cybernetic enhancements.
So this fight's commencing. It's going down. But Godzilla's losing. He's losing, and that's when King Kong comes to. But I think before that, when King Kong lost to Godzilla, because Godzilla won, and then King Kong won against Godzilla, but then Godzilla came back, kicked his ass, and then there was kind of an acknowledgement kind of thing.
And I wasn't quite sure what that was. Like, it was like an acknowledgement, or if it was like this understanding that they didn't really have a reason to fight.
Well, there's a part where Godzilla has King Kong pinned, and they're screaming at each other.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
you say yeah, as in that was cool.
No, it was super cool. I liked it, dude.
Oh my god, it's like the same. I know I'm segueing or like going off the tracks.
Michael's
a little bit
pretentious, dude.
I'm going off the tracks for this, but
so pretentious.
Going off the tracks of this, it reminded me of the kind of cringy, like, acknowledging you're a fighter. We're both fighters. From what is that? It starts with the B. Something fighting or like it's.
Don't you dare hate on Megalobox. Fight. Don't you shut the fuck up.
It's like Megalobox where you're just like,
it's such a good anime. It's such a good anime.
It's good. It's good.
Or that's any shonen anime. There's always like there's typically a character where like I acknowledge your strength.
Yeah. Anyways, King Kong knows his beat. Godzilla walks away, just like here's a rag, clean yourself off kind of situation.
Wipe yourself down, you dirty bitch.
King Kong tries to get up, just like. Fuck. I gotta go. And then he just like passes the fuck out.
I will say though, the scene where he like King Kong gets back up to help Godzilla and he slams his shoulder into the building to put it back into place, I was like, that's cool as fuck, dude.
Okay.
It's little touches. It's little touches like that just like that give these monsters that could just be rampaging monsters actual personality.
You know, being cooler is because the ape's so stupid that he's walking around with that limp fucking arm, just like dragging, can't even use it anymore. Just going stupid. It's like, oh, he doesn't even give a shit.
So it wraps up with, honestly, it was really fast too at this point. Godzilla and King Kong.
They fusioned together. They went fusion hot.
It honestly was an unfair fight. It honestly was a little. It's almost like seeing some dude get the crap beat out of him by two other guys, and just be like, "Ooh, that was not good."
Yeah. It was basically landslide at that point. They double teamed them. One got one arm, the other one got the other arm. They were just like punching.
And then what is it? Godzilla was down. King Kong was about to get taken. And Godzilla like breathes his atomic energy into King Kong's axe, and then he's like, "Take it, brother."
Yeah, no. As Godzilla was charging, Godzilla's like charging up, getting all blue and shit, like on his side, just like sitting on the building. He was like, "You might as well throw it up the deuce." King was like, "Whoa, bro."
He's like, Do for Beta Kai.
The little pixel glasses like come down on him as he does that.
For the fraternity of monsters.
I got you, brother. Like,
oh my
King
god!
Kong's like, whoa, kadoosh!
And he absolutely demolishes Mechagodzilla.
Yeah. At that point, it's just like that. That's the thing. And then the fight ends, and
that was really the end of the movie at that point, you know?
Godzilla kind of just walks away, looks back, basically, you know that I'm better than you kind of situation.
And King Kong was kind of like, yeah, bro.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight you. Just go.
Yeah, like, they acknowledge who's the king still. King Kong goes back to living, like, in,
Earth.
Yeah, Middle Earth. Yeah, Middle Earth.
Next review.
Dude, what's with the Lord of the Rings movies? Jesus. We'd have to be maybe more scripted for that. But yeah, no, he goes back to home in Empty Earth or Empty Middle Earth, whatever. Godzilla goes back to swim in the ocean. Families rejoined. And it was a real solid ending to the movie. I would say I was disappointed, though. There was no end scene credits for nothing. Yeah. So there's no plans for another movie at this point from the sounds of it.
No Jack Black in one of those like ping pong suits doing all the ape movements. Like you find out he was like the movement choreographer for King Kong the whole time. But it's like a joke. Like they make it seem like that was the case, but it's just obviously not true.
Yeah, so that was a little disappointing, but
Hollywood, reach out.
It was good. It was a fun flick. So Michael, just like all our other videos,
our other one
other one video, maybe Population 467, who knows how we did that one. How if you
leaf system?
Yeah, how would you rate this on a scale of 1 to 10 leaves?
I'm gonna give this 6 leaves out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's above average because with these movies, I know that I'm not going there to be totally like blasted away.
You go in and know what you're getting,
and also it's like me. I'm not the kind of moviegoer that is gonna get off at a certain action scene, depending on how good it is and gory it is. Mm-hmm. It's sometimes. Monsters fighting isn't going to be enough for me, and if that's enough for you, then you're going to enjoy this movie more than I did. But the background plot, I'm not going to expect much. I think what sold me on this movie was not only the fights were kind of good to watch. I'll have popcorn in my mouth like a dirty little bastard, just shoveling away at popcorn, just watching that kind of stuff, and not being challenged mentally. That's fine. But the whole Hollow Earth thing was a really cool CGI experience and that whole realm, the diverse thing that they try to do, and the whole like freaking coalition of ape technology thing that they've touched upon. That was interesting. So I gave it a 6.
I'm gonna say
6 leaves.
I'm gonna say a 7 leaves out of 10. I thought that you go in knowing what you're gonna get. You go to Godzilla movies to see a Godzilla movie and for them to fight. So you're not expecting like this wonderful storyline, but I thought the storyline was passable. I thought that they did a really cool job keeping you busy with these multiple storylines coming together. I think that all of the movies, or the last 2 movies at very minimum, have done a really good job driving home the idea that the real enemy isn't Godzilla, the real monster. The people that have always caused the problems in a lot of these movies are man. Whether it be a man grasping for power, trying to have his creating power in this movie or in the last one, to control power. I think that there's underlining tones to these movies that give me enough story that I like it. And I thought visually, the movie was wonderful. The fight choreography that they did, it all being CGI, was really well done. Very fun to look at. A good popcorn muncher. It'll get you in the seats. You'll have a great time doing it, and you'll joke about it with your friends later. So I would definitely say 7 out of 10 leaves.
Okay. Average 6.5 leaves from Uchi Tree. Doing that now, I guess.
Yeah, we're doing that.
A little averaging out.
That's a 6.5 leaves is our official review.
So far, we've only been 1 leaf away from agreeing.
We're pretty close. We haven't had any too dynamic differences yet, but only time will tell.
So, guys, if you liked it, great. We're going to be doing more movie reviews because I think we've got the most reception from them. So you'll probably be seeing a lot more.
Yeah, if you like our movie reviews, check out our gameplays. We do have a lot of fun with our Let's Plays. You'll see one coming out every single day, and we will get on a pretty consistent schedule eventually, hopefully, with the movie reviews whenever they do start popping out.
So leave any ideas for a movie that you want us to review.
Talk to us.
And just also, if you disagree with us, you thought we were stupid, or hey, can you guys just talk and have the footage going, because I hate to see your guys' fucking faces.
Or if you have any opinions about any theories that we talk about, let us know in the comments. We read every single one of them. We try and respond to every single one of them. We do like to interact with you guys. Like, comment, subscribe if you can. It really helps our channel out because we are super small.
When I wake up and look at the channel and I see more of the little likes, little comments, I'm just like,
he talks one more day into his life. I'm living, baby.
Yeah. This is great.
It's very validating to see people like our stuff and to talk to us. And, you know, again, we are a very small channel. So any little bit from you guys, it's very helpful. Lets us know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. And lets us know what to keep making content. So thank you for watching. And we will see you guys next time.
Then he goes in. And this whole Ghidorah setup is baller.
Yes.
Like the guy who's controlling whatever in the future, he's sitting in the skull of Ghidorah. Like, wouldn't that be the best gamer setup? You just freaking sitting in a giant Ghidorah skull, just playing freaking Fortnite.
Yeah. Well, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, but that is the coolest part of the I love that.
Yeah.
It's like get on Reddit, rate my setup, bro.